Hello, my karmically connected friend. Please feel this moment. You have gone to bed, the lights are turned off, and your eyes are closed. But at this very second, a silent war begins. The war of trying to sleep. The more you lie there and expect sleep to arrive, the more wakefulness seems to cling to you. There is a tragic truth that sleep is the only thing in the world that disappears instantly at the very moment you try to catch it. Because when you try to sleep, your mind is actually increasing its control. You are monitoring your breath. You are counting the time, and that very effort to control signals your nervous system that there is still work to be completed. As long as you are putting in effort, the nervous system remains in a state of alertness to carry out the commands of your will. Perhaps all this time you have not lacked sleep. You have only lacked the ability to allow yourself to rest completely. What if the real reason you cannot sink into the gentle darkness is because you are still trying too hard to find it? Why? Trying is stressful. My friend, please understand the truth that when you are trying to do something, your mind automatically sets a goal and begins to wait for a result. The act of trying to sleep is actually a form of relentless effort. You are silently standing guard and monitoring whether your body has become drowsy or if your mind has truly become quiet. That very act of lurking and demanding a result has unintentionally created a new state of tension for your nervous system. In the wisdom of life, the nervous system always understands that as long as you are trying, you still have work to do. And when the mind is still working, the body receives a signal that this is not yet a safe time to let go completely. Please rest assured that this is not a personal failure or your own fault. It is simply an unconscious mechanism of the mind when we long too deeply for rest. Why trying is stressful. My friend, please understand the truth that when you are trying to do something, your mind automatically sets a goal and begins to wait for a result. The act of trying to sleep is actually a form of relentless effort. You are silently standing guard and monitoring whether your body has become drowsy or if your mind has truly become quiet. That very act of lurking and demanding a result has unintentionally created a new state of tension for your nervous system. In the wisdom of life, the nervous system always understands that as long as you are trying, you still have work to do. And when the mind is still working, the body receives a signal that this is not yet a safe time to let go completely. Please rest assured that this is not a personal failure or your own fault. It is simply an unconscious mechanism of the mind when we long too deeply for rest. The threshold, the moment you start trying. My friend, let us recognize together a very subtle threshold where sleep begins to avoid you the moment you touch it. That is the moment you begin to check the clock and silently calculate how much time you have left to rest. It is when the thought that I must sleep early to be awake tomorrow begins to invade your mind. At the very moment you turn sleep into a goal to be completed, an invisible tension has already begun to sprout within your nervous system. The more you count the time, the further sleep retreats like a mocking shadow. I invite you not to blame or reproach yourself when you recognize these habits, but simply observe them with the most compassionate gaze. Remember the truth that the moment sleep becomes a task, it officially stops being a natural process of life. When you stop putting pressure on the night, that is when the door to stillness begins to open to welcome you back. Recognizing effort in the body. I invite you to bring your attention back to the body lying here, to identify where effort is residing on your skin and in your flesh. Usually, when we try to sleep, the body unconsciously records that command as subtle physical tensions. Please notice if your forehead is slightly furrowed due to excessive concentration. Feel your jaw. Are your teeth accidentally clenched together, as if preparing for a silent battle? Listen to your chest. Is there a slight feeling of compression present there, and especially your breath? Is it being silently monitored and controlled by you to become slower or deeper in a forced way? In this moment, I absolutely do not ask you to fix or try to relax immediately. You also do not need to breathe according to any technique or rhythm. This is not a training exercise, but simply a compassionate awareness. Just whisper to yourself that, it turns out my body is still having to work right now. It is trying its best to respond to the demands of the mind. This gentle and non-judgmental seeing will begin to loosen the strings of tension without you having to use any more strength. Letting go of the intent. Tonight, I do not need to sleep. My friend, now I invite you to perform a very powerful yet beautifully paradoxical inner gesture. Please whisper to every cell and every fold of your thought an affirmation that, tonight, I truly do not need to sleep. My dear friend, please do not worry. These words are not a rejection of precious sleep, but rather an act of liberating your soul from the burden of the pressure to achieve a result. As long as there is a craving within you to fall asleep quickly, your nervous system is still being placed in a state of combat readiness to complete a goal. The moment you courageously let go of the intention to sleep, your mind will no longer have a destination to chase, and the invisible tension will suddenly vanish because there is no one left to monitor or urge you. You need to deeply understand a gentle truth that sleep never needs your help or your tired interference. Sleep is like your heartbeat or your breath. It is a natural and sacred process of life that you do not mean to try to control or strive to create. When you stop playing the role of the manager for tonight, your body will automatically find its way back to the most original stillness. Tonight, allow yourself to be present in an empty and full way right on this mattress without carrying any expectations or cravings. Because the deepest rest only truly begins at the moment when you completely stop demanding a result from this gentle darkness. Silent guidance, allowing the body to find its rhythm. Now I invite you to truly be in your own complete silence. I will stop giving any instructions, and you also do not need to put in any more effort. Allow your breath to find its own original and natural rhythm without you needing to monitor or control it for another second. If a thought or a fragment of today's memory suddenly appears in your mind, just gently let it drift away like a cloud passing through the distant sky. Do not try to hold on, and absolutely do not try to chase or run away from them, even if you find yourself still completely awake in the dark. Please be at peace, because that is truly nothing to worry about. Tonight, you do not need to play the role of a guard or a supervisor for your own rest. Please engrave a gentle wisdom deep into your subconscious that you do not need to do anything for sleep to arrive. Deep sleep is like a cool stream of water that will automatically flow into your soul at the exact moment when all effort and striving have completely vanished into the void. Trying to let go correctly. In this quiet darkness, I want to point out a very subtle trap of the mind that we often unintentionally fall into, which is the effort to be perfectly relaxed. There are many people lying here, trying to force themselves to let go, trying to quiet the mind, or busy evaluating whether they have practiced letting go with the right technique. But do you realize that when you are still struggling to be at peace, that very act of trying proves that the guard of the daytime is still very much on duty? You are only replacing the busyness of work with a new busyness called the person who is trying to find healing. True letting go can only happen when there is no longer anyone standing there to direct or perform that action. As long as the self is still there to supervise the relaxation, it is still creating a subtle tension within your nervous system. Please remember a profound wisdom that you absolutely cannot force null on effort, because the nature of effort is interference, while true peace is the absence of all interfering will. Tonight, you do not need to let go skillfully, and you do not need to strive for silence. Just simply let everything happen as it is, where there is no longer a doer and no longer work to be done. Only an empty presence melting into the vast night. Sleep as a natural consequence. Please understand the truth that deep sleep is not a destination for you to conquer, but it is a natural consequence that arises at the moment when the mind no longer has any expectations. When you lie here and silently check your breath monitor, every sensation in the body, or anxiously wait for the moment of drowsiness to arrive, that very persistent observing self is the biggest barrier, preventing you from touching absolute stillness. The masters of old taught the way of non-doing, which means doing nothing. Yet, everything is accomplished. Sleep is exactly the same. It only truly manifests when there is no one left to watch or demand it to appear anymore. Tonight, I invite you to give up setting any standards for your sleep. You can sink into the darkness immediately, or you can still lie here in the silence for a while longer. Please understand that both are completely good, and there is nothing wrong. True peace does not lie in how many hours you sleep, but in whether you are brave enough to stop demanding a certain result for tonight. When you stop playing the role of the supervisor for yourself, your body will automatically find its way back to its inherent biological rhythm. Sleep is like a silent and subtle guest. That guest will never enter the house if the owner is still standing at the threshold, waiting with craving and expectation. Only when the owner truly rests, when all waiting has vanished, can sleep gently. Step forward and cover your entire soul in infinite peace. When the fear of insomnia leaves, when you truly practice letting go of the intention to try to sleep, a miraculous thing will begin to happen not only for tonight, but also for your future days. That is the fear of not being able to sleep will gradually vanish. Most of the pain of those with insomnia does not come from the lack of sleep, but from the fear and the torment that they will be tired the next morning. When you stop declaring war on the darkness, you are silently sending a powerful signal of safety to your entire nervous system. That message says that whether I sleep or not, I am still okay, and I am still being supported in this quiet space. That very belief in safety is the most sustainable healing medicine that helps sleep automatically return in the following nights without effort. You will realize that you no longer need any techniques or support methods because your mind has found its original trust in the body. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, you will find yourself no longer heavy with worries about whether last night was good or bad. You will find your soul empty and less reactive to the fluctuations of life. This transformation does not come from the effort to do something great. It comes from the fact that you have been brave enough to let sleep happen in its most natural way. When fear leaves, rest will automatically return like a cool stream of water that always flows without any human coercion. Sleep is the unobserved state. Let us look back at one last truth of tonight's journey. Deep sleep is actually a state where there is no presence of any observer. You can never truly enter sleep if you are still trying to witness that moment. The moment you disappear from guarding and monitoring yourself is also the moment you become one with the vast silence of the universe. Tonight, bring this gentle awareness into your dreams. That true peace only comes when there is no one left to check or demand it. Stop forcing sleep and let everything happen in the most natural way possible. If these shared words have brought you a sense of permission to let go and helped your breath become lighter, I invite you to perform a final gesture of confirmation by leaving a comment that tonight I stop trying to sleep. This sincere commitment will be the anchor that helps your consciousness truly release all burdens and enter the most complete rest. If the space of Daily Dharma Light brings you tranquility, I am very honored to welcome you to subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to walk together on the path of mindfulness. Now you have nothing more to hear and nothing more to do. Just let the silence cover your entire body and mind. Wish you a very peaceful night in absolute surrender. May you be peaceful in body and mind. Goodbye, and see you again.